What's going on, guys? Nick Swetnam here. That's NICKSWETTENHAM. And this is NST Wrestling. Right, today we're comparing week number 3 in the Wednesday Night Wars. AEW versus WWE NXT. Who came out on top? We're going to look through the beginning, the middle and the end of the shows, compare them and see exactly where we come out on, guys. I've got my opinion. Everyone's got their opinion, but we shall see what comes out on top. So, guys, in the opening match, we had the Best Friends taking on SCU, which was Christopher Daniels and Hank Kazarian, 2 members of the 3-man team. However, as they were coming out the ramp, as we saw, Christopher Daniels got attacked by the Lucha Brothers, pile-driven onto the mat and taken out. So, Scorpio Sky came in to replace him. Initially, I was like, oh, what's going on? But this actually made great sense because the match in itself was great. You had some great high spots and you had some great comedy spots in there also, like subtle things. Scorpio Sky coming in, really taking his own spotlight. And I feel this match was actually made really for him to really come out into his own, almost as a single competitor in a tag team match. There was a great bit when he had one sock on, one shoe on, and, you know, we didn't quite know what was going on. Which made me laugh. That kind of combined with the Ted Turner cardboard cutout in the background. This match was really entertaining in general. And it was just really cool to see SCU come out on top. There was a bit of a botch in the match with the powerbomb going into the dropkick. However, you know, put that aside, this match was really great. A great wrestling match. Fast-paced, some great spots going outside, some great flips. Looking at NXT's first match, though, we did have more of a comeback match, essentially. Tommaso Ciampa coming out to take on Angel Garza. And, you know, he did a great job. I mean, he came out, the match got a great pop for him. He came out to the ring, the fans loved it. He did his thing. It was a decent little match, but it was designed to get him over. So looking at the first matches, AEW does win this hands down because the match overall in total was a lot better. But they were completely different matches. You know, you can't really compare the two in terms. They weren't, you know, they weren't both big long matches. One was a comeback match and one was essentially a tournament match. So AEW does win this one, but still great to see Tommaso Ciampa back. And, you know, it's all going to go off between him and the Undisputed Era, who came out after the match and started talking trash to Tommaso Ciampa. We then cut to the back, obviously, with poor Velveteen Dream getting taken out as well. So we know now Velveteen Dream is not going to be able to compete. Going more into the middle now of the two shows. Now, AEW, we had the women's title match as part of this. Now, I wasn't a huge fan. I mean, Britt Baker and Reno, it was decent, you know, it was okay. But I think that if you're looking at the women in AEW compared to NXT in this show, by far, NXT won this. The women got a lot more coverage in NXT. We had the return of Tegan Nox. She got the victory. Shayna Baszler then came out and, you know, Tegan Nox is implying that she wants a title shot. Shayna Baszler's like, no, you don't deserve nothing. And it's looking like they're going to build this up. So there's a number of women involved in this title scene in NXT. But let's just wait and see how it goes. I'm thinking hopefully in the weeks to come, we're going to get more storyline development. But they're planting the seeds, guys. They're planting the seeds for this. And I really, really hope we're going to get a great women's title match coming up very soon for that. We also had Matt Riddle taking on Bronson Reed here. And, you know, this match did exactly what it was meant to do. It got Matt Riddle over. It wasn't a long match. It wasn't an amazing match. But it was a decent match. And it did exactly what it was meant to do. Before that, we had Keith Lee taking on Dominic Dvorak. And in this match, I've got to say, this was actually a really good little match. It's a shame it ended on the DQ by Roderick Strong. But at the same time, guys, this is setting up a triple threat match for next week's NXT. And you know what? I can't wait for that. That's going to be a brilliant match. You know, these two guys have performed on the Indies before, and now you add Roderick Strong into it. Hopefully, we're going to see something special next week. So they've once again planting the seeds for character storyline development with both shows. But with NXT in this spot, I thought that was perfectly done. The Imperium match as well versus Birch and Lorcan was once again a great match. about 8 minutes, 40 seconds long. We had the double jump moonsault. We had some dives, brainbusters, winning with the European bomb here. It was a sprint match. Brilliant match. Great tag team match. And this is the thing about both shows this week. I'm going to get onto AEW in a second, but tag team wrestling here, guys, was the focus of, obviously, of AEW. But this was a great tag team match too. And if NXT really start to boost their tag team division up, we could have some great competition here for AEW as well. Right, moving on to AEW. Now, there were a couple of tag team matches going on here in the middle of the show. However, okay, we did have Santana and Ortiz, the Inner Circle, basically having a squash match. And that's cool. They came out. They're meant to be dominant. They're meant to be the Inner Circle. And they're meant to be with Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho cut a promo afterwards as they're kind of coming to the back. You could hear Chris. You could hear them outside in the arena. And, it just worked really well. It got Chris over, got them over, establishing them as a group and establishing their dominance on AEW Dynamite. Now, guys, here it is. The match of the night, in my opinion, not only for AEW, but for also NXT as well. The entire night in wrestling, we had Pac the Bastard and Jon Moxley taking on Hangman Page and Kenny Omega in what I can only describe as a brilliant match. I mean, we had such a mix here. I mean, Pac and Omega both so quick. I would love to see a match between these two coming up soon. There was some great stuff, but when Paige hit the ring apron really hard at one point, I was like, ouch, that's going to hurt, especially someone who's been in the ring and done wrestling myself. That's got to hurt, man, no doubt about it. We saw Snapdragon suplexes. There was some great offense outside the ring as well. And then the barbed wire baseball bat and the barbed wire broom came out. That's when Pac said to Jon Moxley, took it off him. He didn't want to get the disqualification. Probably being the more sensible of the two, but then Jon Moxley was like, screw this, gave him the middle finger, gave him a dirty deeds, which felt just like a Stone Cold Steve Austin thing to do, minus the finisher. And yeah, that was great. He came out. We've now set up this match for next week, Jon Moxley versus Pac. Absolutely great match of the night. And I think that for that reason, AEW does also beat NXT for the middle of the show. Going to the end of the show now, guys, we've got Chris Jericho taking on Darby Allin in a Philadelphia street fight. Now, I was a little bit underwhelmed with this match. It wasn't crap, it wasn't bad, but there wasn't much of the street fight element to it at the beginning anyway. They did get a kendo stick out, and then he did something which was, I thought, amazing. And this is when the match picked up, in my opinion, because they really are trying to get over new stars, and they're doing this so well with Darby Allin. He handcuffed the guy, so Darby Allin's handcuffed, yet he manages to do a moonsault. And he still manages to do all these moves, a dive over the top rope on the outside. I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, that is such a high-risk maneuver to do. And he did it, and it got him over like hell. He's obviously no Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's been around since, the 1990s, early 1990s wrestling. And this guy's got a long way to go. However, I think they did a great job of getting him over. What I wouldn't have done is have Jack Hager come in and interfere. If you do this too often, it's going to get boring, just like it did with the NWO. What they need to do, Chris Jericho is Chris Jericho. He's the champion, and he needs to win that match clean. From there, then Jake Hager comes in and starts to kick the crap out of Darby Allin, and you can do it that way. But I feel that Chris Jericho's good enough, he's cocky enough, he is the best, and he needs to win clean. That match was okay, but I've got to hand it to the main event of NXT. Damian Priest taking on Pete Dunne. Now, even though I'm British, I've never been the hugest fan of Pete Dunne's, just his look. I just feel he's got a funny look. But this match was amazing. I mean, this was the best match by Priest on NXT to date. It's really solidified him now as a star. There was some great stuff going on. They built it up. They had some great brawling, some great wrestling, some great high-risk offense as well. But at the end of the day, I was expecting Pete Dunne to win here. But Damian Priest got the victory. Now, not necessarily the biggest of deals for Pete Dunne, because it didn't make him look weak. They still cut to him afterwards. You could see he was not, he was okay. He wasn't out of it. But this is a great win for Damian Priest, and he's got a great look to him, great gimmick. I'm hoping for big things with Damian Priest in the future. He could definitely be in line for the title at some point. And overall, this match, I've got to say, did beat AEW. So if you take the beginning and you give that to AEW, if you take the middle and you give that to AEW, and take the end, giving it to NXT, AEW does score the victory tonight, guys. Once again, for the third week in a row. Just my opinion. I'm sure you guys have got a different opinion, or maybe the same opinion in some ways. But, you know, if you couple that along as well with the promo they did for Finn Balor, along with the promo they did for Cody Rhodes, I think the Cody Rhodes promo also beats Finn Balor as well. Tonight, what they did on both shows, which was so great, they got new stars over. They're building new stars on both brands and not just leaving it up to the older guys to get. NXT, obviously, everyone's kind of being built up. But on AEW as well, even though Jericho got the victory, you know, he had to cheat to win. And even though I would have rather a clean victory, I think that they're still building those new stars. Scorpio Sky as well, really got a good rub tonight. And obviously, guys, commentary on both I think was brilliant. Morrow is just amazing. JR and Shivani, you can't go wrong. You know, love the pyro on AEW. Still think they can improve it, but it's still really, really good. So let me know what you think, guys, in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe this video. And we will see you soon for more.